session. So, hoping you have gone through the previous topics. Have you gone through it? So today we are. So I can just give you an overview so that you cannot float completely.
Yes.
So let me look for the first topic, then I give you an overview of what is food production. So in topic 1, it was introduction to food and beverage theory, where when we begin, you are supposed to know basically what is food and what is beverage. Those are the first thing you must come into terms with. So food is anything that you can eat. And remember, it must be something that is accepted by the Public Health Act. So when it comes to food and beverage theory class, we define food as a range of cuisines. A cuisine is a French term that normally denotes different or various types of cookery. So that means in Kenya, like we have around 47 tribes. Each and every tribe has a way of cooking. Nikitaja a specific tribe, there is a specific dish that they consume. Like, let me talk about the coast. Whenever you talk about the Kenyan coast, we know biryani must come in place, and we know pilau must also come into discussion. So food defined, it is a range of cookery. That is what we basically mean. So across the world, we have different types of cookery. The Asians have a way of cooking, Japanese, Americans, French, the Frenchmen, etc. So food is a range of cookery, a range of cuisine, if you are asked to say. Then you give examples, tuko na French, tuko na Kenyan cuisine, South African cuisine, etc. Then beverage is anything that can be consumed. And remember, when it is consumed, it is something that is safe for your health. Anything that can be consumed which will be safe for your health is termed as a beverage. And beverages are divided into two. We have alcoholic beverages, then we have non-alcoholic beverages. Example of alcoholic beverage, we categorize them into 4 groups. We have wines, we have beers, we have spirits, and we have liqueurs. Those are examples of alcoholic beverages. So you need to know an example of a wine, you need to know an example of a beer, an example of a liqueur, and also an example of a spirit in place. Then we move to hizo utajua Augustine.
Yes, sure.
Alafu we move to non-alcoholic beverages, where we have water, chocolate, tea, soda, milk, etc. Sindio?
Yes.
Aya. So hapo ndo tuko yeah?
But the part of liquor, I don't know an example of liquor. What is liquor?
You have pronounced it wrongly. There is a liquor, yes, and there is a liqueur. Spelling ya liquor ni L-I-Q-U-R. Hiyo ni liquor. Liquor is any alcoholic drink. So long as iko na alcohol ndani yake, it is termed as a liquor. But nimesema liquor. Liquor ni Liqueur. Liquor. So a liquor is an alcoholic drink that has been fortified and aromatized. Fortified and aromatized. So hiyo inamaanisha this is a drink that alcoholic percentage has been added again. After fermentation, you add some other alcohol into it so that the alcoholic percentage can go up. Ukiferment, basically, ukianza the process of making a liqueur, when you ferment it, it will just range between 6 and 12%. Then when you fortify it, it goes now up to 18 to 22%. So kina Amarula, kina Cinzano, Martini, the Malagas are examples of liqueurs. Umeshika sasa?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is the introduction part of it, what is food and what is beverage. So let me narrow it down to introduction to the kitchen, where a kitchen is normally a caterer's workshop. Being a caterer's workshop, it means you as a food and beverage provider, this is your major office where you work. So it will entail food preparation, cooking, and finishing. You're going to prepare different types of foods. You're going to cook in various ways. You're going to boil, you will stew, you will braise, you will bake, etc. And then you're going to finish it. To finish is the process of the last thing you are doing to a specific dish. Then you put it on a plate. Then you serve it to the guest. So food and beverage production is just an art where you have to think. After producing something, you start thinking so that the end product can be as beautiful as possible to the customer. Importance of kitchen organization. So kitchen organization is a way of organizing your kitchen to look systemic, basically, just to look as beautiful as it can, so that you can cook food hygienically to the right number of people, and you make good use of your laborers in the kitchen, equipment and material. Because we are in the commercial sector, hatutataka kuhire more staff because you will lack the money for profits. That is what is basically kitchen organization. You organize your kitchen so that you cook the right food to the right number of people, proper hygiene maintained with the right use of equipment and material. Hiyo ndio watu kiwa hapo jikoni, I will not allow you to cook with a spoon. It is very wrong. Be it even a serving spoon. Hiyo sio kazi yake. When you are cooking with a saucepan, sufuria, you must have a cooking stick with you. Also, when we talk about kitchen organization, again, we also have to talk about accessibility. You must be able to move in and out of that kitchen without danger. So lazima tupange our equipment and everything very well without to minimize hazards in the kitchen. So that is where now I moved down to factors influencing kitchen planning and design. What are those factors that will guide you so that you plan your kitchen very well? So size of the menu was there, skill of your staff, amount of equipment you have, convenience foods, hivyo tukiteremka chini. So let me look at what basically I need to talk about so that you cannot hang when you go through it.
Okay, when I went through the notes, I didn't understand how the skill of the laborer can influence the design.
The skill of the laborer.
And
So
usually who are the workers? Yeah.
the laborer is the staff in the kitchen. So that means when you are hiring your kitchen staff, you are supposed to hire somebody who is versed with that work, somebody who knows that work. And also, above all, remember hospitality establishments differ. We have 5-star, they're normally rated 5-star, 4-star, 1-star, like that. So you also hire the staff based on the money you have at hand. You cannot hire staff who is telling you at the end of the month you give me 1 million, and yet you cannot make it. So that is the skill. You look at the knowledge of the staff versus what you can offer in the establishment. So can I move to topic 2 and give you an overview of topic 2?
Yes.
Or okay, let me look for topic 2. So in topic 2, we were talking about the staff structure. So the staffs who make up a food and beverage sector. So the overall staff is the general manager. Then below him or her, we normally have the food and beverage manager. Then now we have the executive chef, then assistant executive chefs. Then we will move to chef de parties, then cooks down there. So a food and beverage manager is normally that person who is in charge of both the food and beverage production and service. So to be called a food and beverage manager, you need to know that you are in charge of the production of food, the production of beverage, and even how it is sold. So you are a boss of both the kitchen and the restaurant. You're the food and beverage manager. Then we have the executive chef. This is the boss of the kitchen, normally termed in French as the chef de cuisine. This is the boss of the kitchen. So this person has various duties inside the kitchen. He is the administrator, the boss of the kitchen, but he will require more people to assist him with the day-to-day duties. Then we move to the assistant executive chef, who is the sous chef. He or she will be there depending with the size of the hospitality establishment. If it is too big, the position is there. If it is a small establishment, that position is never there. And his work will entail menu planning. So hii ni kuandika new menus in place. Costing for menus and labor. That means when you write a menu at a specific time, you must cost for it. Ndio upate buying price, you bought the ingredients for making that dish. Then they will determine the selling price. So at the end of the day, you must make a profit. So this person must cost for menu and must cost for labor, the staff required to make that dish. Then we have costing for materials to prevent wastage, for security purposes, and portion control. Then he will control issuing of the foodstuffs and cleaning materials. Then he's in charge of staff relation, like hiring, training of staff, welfare of staff, and making of duty rotas. Then he liaises with purchasing manager what is basically required in the kitchen in terms of ingredients. Then he advises the management in the replacement and renewal of equipment in the kitchen. Under the sous chef, we have the departees, the section chef. So these section chefs, they are in charge of those sections dependent on the section he or she is the head of. So the first section of the kitchen we have is the saucier, and the in charge is normally known as the chef du saucier. He's responsible for meat. Game is any type of meat from wild animal. So tulete gazelle, tulete nyama ya antelope, it is normally termed as a game. Then tuko na poultry that requires braising, stewing, boiling, poaching, etc. So those ones are methods of cookery that we are just coming to discuss in the coming topics. So a chef dissocié will always prepare meat in the kitchen, game, poultry. And these ones are normally those dishes that will not require either grilling or roasting. So that means utampa nyama but hata grill na haezi roast. Hiyo ndio kazi ya sosie, because we have the second person who is known as the chef rôtissier. So he is responsible for meat, game and poultry that requires grilling, roasting and deep frying. But after he or she has grilled, roasted and deep fried, a sauce will be required ndio hiyo chakula isikue dry. These sauces are normally now prepared with the saucier. Hope umenielewa.
Yes.
Then we move to chef garde-manger. This is normally the larder chef responsible for cold preparations in the kitchen. Hizo salads, they're normally made by the chef garde-manger. Then we have the chef pâtissier, responsible for preparing and cooking all sweet dishes in the kitchen, the pastries. So pastries, hapa ndo watu kuna cakes as an example. That is a sweet dish in the kitchen. And there are so many. We are going to learn about them. We have tarts, we have flans, we have pies as examples of sweet dishes that come from the kitchen. They are made by the chef pâtissier. Hata matunda inatoka pastry department. Then we have the chef poisson. This is now the chef that prepares all fish dishes in the kitchen. Then we have the chef entremetier. This one prepares vegetables and farinaceous dishes. Farinaceous dishes are normally dishes made from the flour of farine. The flour of farine ndio rice na spaghetti. So ukienda supermarket huwa unaona penye spaghetti iko kuna makaroni, kuna fettuccine, kuna hii yenye watoto wanapenda inaitwa something. The noodles, those ones. They are prepared through the chef entremetier. Then tuko na chef potager. This one is in charge of preparing soups and also the farinaceous dishes. Hata ugali he prepares. Then we have chef du tonnage. This one is the one who he or she comes when somebody is absent. He's a reliever. So siku yenye kuna mtu ameenda off, he or she comes over to work there. Then we have the chef du commode. He or she prepares staff meals. Then we have chef de nuit. He or she makes the dishes during the night. Then we have the breakfast chef there. They are normally found in those hotels that guests who frequent there, they're always on transit. They're on the move. Kama hawa truck drivers, they drive up to almost midnight. Ndio wanaenda wanalala, kesho 5 wanaamka wanaendelea na their journey. So these types of hospitality establishments that cater for these people who come at night, they are normally known as motels. We find that chef known as the breakfast chef there. In the kitchen, we have stewards and we have porters. Stewards in the kitchen maintain hygiene inside the kitchen, hygiene ya equipment na the hygiene of the floor. Porters ni watu wa kutumwa. So hata steward mboga zikifika wanaweza osha. So I move to today's work. Ndio.
Okay, yes. I'm with you.
So we move to today's work, and today we were talking about hygiene. Let me load it. So when it comes to hygiene, it is the art of preserving health in the establishment. You ensure that the health of your staff are up to standards as per the requirement of the public health, which is the government. So public health is the science of practicing or preserving health, and one of the most important subjects are the people who are working inside the industry. So it requires high level of cleanliness so that no germ or bacteria can contaminate food or even contaminate our surrounding. So hygiene is divided into 3 parts. We normally have personal hygiene, we have kitchen hygiene, then we have the food hygiene. So those are the 3 things that I want now to discuss. Personal hygiene is very important, where you find as a food and beverage personnel, you are normally required to go for a medical examination. In the medical examination, your blood will be tested, your blood pressure will also be tested, your stool will be tested, your urine will be tested, just to ensure that, and even weight is normally tested just to ensure that you are of the appropriate weight and appropriate standards as required. So to help us maintain good personal hygiene, bathing is normally required at least twice a day. It should be done. Hands should be thoroughly washed, and especially after visiting a toilet. We keep jewelry to a minimum, and you will find out that it is only the wedding ring that can be allowed inside the kitchen. Any other bracelet, ring will not be allowed into the kitchen, even watches. Fingernails should always be short. Fingernails should always be kept short and clean with no varnish. Cutex. Hair should also be kept short. And for ladies, they're supposed to be tying whatever they have completely behind their back, and whenever they wear the chef jacket, it should completely be the chef's hat. It should be completely covering their hair. Let us prevent touching our nose, mouth, ears, etc. to prevent germs from being transferred from those surfaces to the food we are preparing. Cuts, burns, sores should be covered, vidonda should be covered with waterproof dressings. Then the feet. We normally wear flat shoes. We normally term them as conventional shoes. Black flat shoes made of leather is what should be worn in the kitchen, because leather does not get burnt easily. Then we should avoid smoking in the food areas, because the cigarette can pour down into the food. And in case you smoke, if you come back to the food service area, you are supposed to wash your hands well. Spitting should never occur. I've talked about makeup. Cosmetics should be kept to a minimum. We should wear clean clothes that have been well ironed and, if possible, even starched. A good food and beverage person should sleep enough, relax enough, and even you are supposed to do exercise. Because you are working in the food area, you can be your best at any given time. So exercise is good because it gives you a good range of your body weight. When it comes to tasting of food, we are supposed to use spoons when tasting them and not our fingers. Kitchen clothes should always be clean, so you'll be required to have a kitchen cloth. It looks like a towel, and it should always be clean. We should not sit on the table surfaces, and one person who is working in the kitchen should not have any form of disease, especially the communicable disease, those ones that nikisonga karibu na wewe nitapata, kama kikohozi, homa. They are not allowed inside the food service areas. Then we move to kitchen hygiene, or now the kitchen hygiene is what we normally term as the environmental hygiene. So this is our surroundings now. I have addressed kitchen hygiene, personal hygiene, you as an individual. So we move to environmental, the surrounding of ours, which should be clean because we are basically working with food. So these are the following points that we are supposed to put into consideration in regard to environmental hygiene. Number one, ventilation. So ventilation should be done. Ventilation should be provided so that the stale air goes out. Above all, when you sweat, the ventilation can be able to cool your body as fast as possible. So adequate ventilation is very important to remove the stale air and also to cool our bodies inside the kitchen. The next thing is adequate lighting inside the kitchen is very good, so that when we cook, you can see it clearly and you can also see the color of the food that you are preparing. The other thing about environmental hygiene is plumbing. So plumbing, this is how water can come out of the kitchen. So again, plumbing must be done well because we require lots of water in the kitchen, and it just has to come out in the most efficient way. So plumbing has to be done correctly. Then we have cleaning of toilets and sinks. When it comes to cleaning of toilets and sinks, inamaanisha our toilets must always be clean, and even our sinks must be maintained clean. And we also normally say that in the toilet, we also normally put notices, flush after use, so that the hygiene standards of the the toilet can also be maintained. Then we talk about floors. Our floors in the kitchen should not be slippery. They should not have cracks. They should not be absorbent floors, and they should be ones that are easily cleaned in the kitchen. After that, we will talk about walls. They are the ones that can be washed, because when we cook, there are some food items that can jump onto the walls. When we finish, we should be able to clean them, so that we should have the right types of walls in the kitchen so that they can be washable when it is required. Above all, they should be smooth walls that are impervious. Impervious ni ile yenye si absorbent. Above all, again, they should be strong walls. After that, we have ceilings. The ceilings in the kitchen should not be the ones that crack or flake. Kuflake ni zile zenye zinajisaga zikitoka. No, it should be one that is just strong, so that when cleaning comes on board, we clean without spoiling the walls. Then we need doors and windows for adequate allowing of light to come in, and also for ventilation purposes. Then we move to hygiene of kitchen equipment, where kitchen equipment ndio sasa hizo sufuria, graters, etc. The following guide must apply to all our kitchen equipment. Wash in hot water with detergent. Rinse with hot water. Dry thoroughly. Pay attention to items that are difficult to clean. So we normally have some items that require keenness, kama grater, kichungi, conical strainer. When you are washing them, you need to be keen enough. You make sure imeng'ara kabisa. Then also in the kitchen, we are required to have a muslin cloth. Muslin cloth ndio saa zingine ni kama sieve tunatumia sana sana tukitengeneza soups, so that when you sieve them, no solid substances that can pass through. When you have such types of clothes in the kitchen, pia huwa ziko kwa pastry, ndio tunaweka our ingredients ndani tukidecorate hizo pastries. They're supposed to be washed in very hot water ndio itoe hiyo uchafu completely. Then we should always remove electrical equipment from electricity tukimaliza. For cleaning fixed mechanical equipment, use very hot water detergent. Fixed mechanical equipment ni kama kina oven. They also require cleaning from time to time. Use very hot detergent water, then rinse them well. And pay attention that it is an electrical equipment in such a way that you disconnect it before you start the cleaning process. Then we have environmental hygiene, where we keep our surfaces clean and dry. So it entails the following steps. Provide brightly covered surfaces. Our kitchen surfaces should be brightly colored. Remember, bright colors normally add more light. The reason why we talk about our surfaces to be bright is because bright surfaces add light into the room rather than the dark surfaces. Examples of bright colors, we normally have red, orange, yellow, pink. Then number 2, provide adequate ventilation and lighting. Then keep the bins lined. Line ni kuweka hizo karatasi za black juu ya dustbin and you cover them to prevent pests. Then you are supposed to separate the types of waste we have. In the kitchen we have can waste. Can waste ni kama ile mkebe ya jam ama potato paste, tomato paste. Hizo cans, we put them in one dustbin. The second type of waste we normally have in the kitchen ni bottle. Kama bottle of wine, umepika na wine, that bottle will be required to throw it. That is the second dustbin in the kitchen. The third bin we normally have ni ya plastics, kama blue band. Mkebe ya blue band umemaliza kutumia, you put it in the third bin. Then the fourth one huwa ni ya decomposable waste. Ni kama umepeel viazi, hiyo ngozi yake is something that is decomposable, you put them there. So we require separate waste for easy disposal, storage and handling of waste. The fifth one is to deal with accumulated waste accordingly. So takataka ikishajaa hapo kwa hiyo ndoo, go and dispose it correctly. Next, have windows meshed so that there is no entry of insect, birds and even animals. Tuko na zile hoteli zenye ziko mahali kama ndani ya Masai Mara, monkey anaweza ingia anytime. So put meshes on the windows. Then keep all bins clean after disposal. Ukishatupa takataka, osha dustbin, uweke vizuri. Next, keep all utensils and equipment clean after use. So that one is in regard to environmental hygiene. Forms of waste and their correct methods of disposal. That is where now we move next. So in the kitchen, we have the following types of wastes. Waste number 1 we have is something known as the solid waste. Solid wastes are divided into 2. We have raw food waste, and then we have cooked food waste. So raw food waste ni kama ngozi ya Irish potatoes. Juu umechonga unataka kupika chips etc. That is a raw food waste. Then we have cooked food waste. Ni ile yenye kama mgeni ameacha. That one will be termed as a cooked food waste. All these waste, it can be sold to dealers wapatie mbwa na nguruwe yao, or it can be buried in a compost pit. The second category of waste we normally have is liquid waste. Liquid waste is divided into three. We have dirty water that will go through the sewage system. Then we have the ones from the toilet. Also, it will go through the sewage system. And then we have old and dirty cooking oil. Hiyo ndio ile yenye watu tuna deep fry nayo chips na fish from time to time. So inafika na wakati imekuwa black kabisa. That is the old dirty cooking oil. So if we have dirty water, it will go through the sewage system. Same to toilet waste will go through the sewage system, or you connect it to a pit latrine in the establishment. And if it is dirty oil, with dirty oil, we normally prevent it from getting dirty and oil by cleaning over that thing that we normally put oil inside. So kama fryer ya chips, we keep on tunachunga hiyo mafuta na tunaosha fryer. Remember that oil can take us for a very long period of time. Then we move to number 3 type of waste. We normally have the gaseous waste from the gas. So the gaseous waste will come in different forms. Tuko na smoke from fuels and cooking of food, and we have steam from cooking of food. So smoke from fuels and cooking of food, hiyo ni kila siku tukipika smoke itatokezea. Ukiongeza nyanya ama kitunguu, moshi itatokea. Then tukifunika chakula, steam itatokea. So that one, the only way we can take good care of the gaseous waste is through adequate ventilation inside the kitchen. And then unapata pia hizo kitchen watu kuna na zile extraction systems zenye huwa zinatoa moshi juu ya nyumba hivyo. So it is also very important to put them in the kitchen. So we have talked about personal hygiene and we have talked about environmental hygiene. So the third part is the personal hygiene, the food hygiene. Question mpaka penye tumefika hapo?
No, I'm good. Perfect.
Aya. So we move to food hygiene. And when we talk about food hygiene, this is normally those measures that we put in place so that the food that we are going to prepare can be safe for human consumption. Those measures that we put in place so that the food that we are preparing can be safe for human consumption. So sanitation here is very important when we work, and when we talk about sanitation, it is really wide. Food sanitation is very wide because right from that place where that food will be picked, then we will come and receive it in the establishment. We are going to store it in our store there in the kitchen. We are going to remove it in the store, come and prepare it. And then that is when it will now either go to be served to the customer, or again, it can be left there. Ipoepoe kidogo juu mgeni bado yuko ready. So what are those things that we are supposed to do in regard to that specific food? So hiyo ndio food hygiene. So here, that is where now we talk about the different types of foods and what we are supposed to do to them. So we start with meat. Meat is a very nice food basically, but it is extremely dangerous if if you don't know how to take care of hygiene. So it can pick bacteria as fast as possible, and that is where people now will start talking about contamination of your foods that you prepare. So food, unapata basically kitu kama meat, we normally keep them in the cold temperatures inside our refrigerators so that bacteria does not multiply as fast as possible. So that one is very important. Then we have other food items like eggs. Eggs again should not be mixed with other food items because eggs are home of a bacteria known as staphylococci, and it multiplies very fast given time. Then we have the aspect of dry foods, where dry foods ni kama salt, sukari, unga ngano hivyo. They are normally placed differently with foods that can be refrigerated kama nyama. So when you have these dry goods in the establishment, we normally keep them in airtight containers. So you take a container, you put them inside there and you cover it so that it can always remain dry. Then we keep those containers in places that are warm. Juu zikishika ubaridi, again, the food can be easily wasted. So basically food, you just need how to understand how it is supposed to be kept. We have milk and milk products. They have ways of how they can be kept, and we have to maintain. Milk goes bad very fast. So you must know the right temperatures for keeping milk and milk products. When I talk about milk products, hapa tuko na ghee is a byproduct of milk, cheese is a byproduct of milk, and the different types of creams that you normally have. And you're just supposed to keep them in the right temperatures. So food poisoning can be prevented by maintaining high standards of personal hygiene, attention to physical fitness, so fanya exercise, maintaining good working conditions in that you have your piece of cloth unatumia kupanguza nayo kitchen surfaces ukifanya kazi. So wherever you are working should be very clean. Maintaining equipment in good working conditions. Adequate provision of cleaning facilities and cleaning equipment. Correct storage of foodstuff at the right temperature. Then we reheat food when it is required. Watu wasikule chakula baridi. Then we have quick cooling of food prior to storage. Chakula inafaa kupoa ndio uweke kwa fridge. Then protection of foods from harmful insects that can give us germs like houseflies, cockroaches, etc. Hygienic washing procedures. So when you're washing your hands, you're washing the surfaces, you do it hygienically. Then food handlers should know the causes of food handlers should always know the causes of food poisoning. Then food handlers not knowing but carrying out procedures to prevent food poisoning. Like they need to carry out procedures that can prevent food poisoning. Food hygiene rules are as follows. Wash your hands before handling any food. So that means when we will come to food production practicals in the kitchen, the first thing we begin with is washing our hands. Then number 2, wash all equipment and utensils that you want to use that time. Hata kama hao watu wengine walikuwa wameosha, huwezi jua mtu ameosha na finyo gani. Next, wash all raw ingredients before preparing them. Separate equipment and utensils meant for both raw and cooked food. Next, cover all food items. So when unakatakata nyama, unafaa kuwa na hiyo bowl yenye unakaba ukiweka ndani for hygiene purposes. Cook or regenerate food at the right temperature. Kuregenerate ni kuchemsha tena at the right temperature. Cook and sanitize vegetables meant for salads. Kama uko na a specific vegetable you want to use it for making salad, you have to sanitize it to kill germs. Bones can be sold to dealers or buried. Zile bones huwa tunatumia kutengeneza soup. You need to sell it to dealers kama umemalizia na unaona kuna kitu ya kufanyia, or you bury them ndo zisinuke zilete insects. Plastic bottles and bags can be sold to dealers or burnt. Broken and sound unwanted glass can be buried. Wood and fabric waste should be burnt. So those are the hygiene measures that we can put in regard to the kitchen. So hapo kuna review question. You explain ways in which food hygiene can be maintained in the following area, in the food preparation area. So you are in the kitchen there, umesimama, you are preparing either vegetable, meat, etc. How can you maintain food hygiene in that area? And then also, how do we maintain food hygiene in food storage areas? So food storage areas ndo hizo machillers na freezers tuko nayo kwa kitchen. How do we maintain hygiene in those areas? From there, we move to kitchen safety. And safety is normally those measures that we put to prevent hazards in the kitchen or accidents inside the kitchen. That is safety. So also in the kitchen, it is very important to ensure that your staff and you yourself, you are safe. So common accidents in the kitchen, we have falls. Somebody can fall in the kitchen, which can lead to a sprain, a dislocation, or a fracture. And even some people can be paralyzed to life or for life or even die. So falls are caused by slippery floor, spillages when they are not dealt with immediately. So maji imemwagika, umeassume wewe unaendelea. Poor lighting, uneven floors, missing piece at the nosing of a stair. So hiyo ni hapo kwa edge ya stairs. A piece can be missing, ukanyage, uteleze, uanguke. When you step an unusual place haujazoea, unaweza anguka. You can trip, kuanguka. Unaweza kuwa umekanyaga flexes of electricity, ushtuke, uanguke. Wrong use of equipment, overreaching, inappropriate footwear, umevaa kiatu mbaya. Then when you overcrowd a place, those ones are the major causes of falls. Then we have causes of burns, and burns are normally divided into three. We normally have a basic burn, which is caused by dry heat. Like umechomeka tu na moto hivyo. Hiyo is normally known as a burn. Then we have a scald. It is normally a burn caused by moist heat. Ulikuwa umefunika sufuria, then ukienda kutoa hiyo moshi, hiyo steam ikakuchoma. Hiyo huwa tunaita a scald. Then we normally have an asphyxiation. That one is normally an extreme burn. So all those three things can happen inside the kitchen, which are caused by the following things. One, placing flammable materials too near fire. So flammable materials, methylated spirit, hapo umeweka karibu na moto ita explode, ama paraffin tuchomeke. Number two, leaving inflammable material exposed or uncovered. Hizi pia ni vitu tu zinaweza shika moto. unaacha hivyo. Handling hot pans with your bare hand can cause a burn. Extreme changes of temperatures when deep frying can cause a burn. Huwa unapata mtu akideep fry ni mandazi ama ni samaki anaitupa kwa moto badala ya kuiachilia tu polepole. Those ones really cause burns in our kitchen each and every time. Next, overfilling of frying pan. So maybe you are deep frying mandazi, overfill hiyo pan. Hiyo pia mtu chomeka. Leaving deep frying oil heating unattended for a very long time. Umeweka mafuta hapo, unataka kudeep fry mandazi, umeiachilia hapo, umeenda ikachemka ikawa ready. Then careless lighting of gas equipment can lead to a burn. Faulty electrical equipment, overloading of electrical sockets, faulty gas cylinders or nozzles can also lead to burns inside that kitchen. Then now we move to causes of scalds inside the kitchen, and I have defined what is a scald. Using a wet towel to remove hot pans in the kitchen. Too hot water from domesticated hot water pipes can also cause it. Then we have carelessness when filling coffee, milk. Remember, they are always hot. Carelessness when opening lids and pans. Then tuko na carelessness when adding food into the deep fryers. Then serving very hot beverages. Then we have causes of cuts and bruises, ndio hizo hapo hivyo. Careless opening of tins, careless disposal of glasses, ceramic floors, falling objects, overstacking of items, incorrect stacking of equipment, using very blunt knives, leaving knives in a sink full of water, mtu akikuja kushika jikate, careless handling of knives, carelessness when operating motor equipment, vitu zinatumia stima kama blender hivyo, oven, not using chopping boards when preparing food. Unakata mboga na mkono yako, which is not hygienic in the kitchen. Then we have lifting injuries are caused by incorrect lifting and lifting a too heavy load. Then electric shock also happens in the kitchen, and it is very dangerous and normally leads to death. Causes ni using faulty electrical equipment that are not properly arced, touching electrical appliances and socket with wet hands, touching liquids heating by electric current, touching naked wires, touching operative electric equipment with bare hands. So we should avoid those things. Then lastly, we normally talk about is, when we talk about hygiene, the last thing we address is fire safety. So fire is something that is a very important factor in our kitchen, and it is being that it is important, we need to take reasonable care. So we normally have the Fire Safety Act that regulates us in the establishment, but still it is a very big hazard in our establishment. So the Fire and Safety Act of 1975 is normally an act inside the Constitution that normally regulates us on fire. This act normally has something known as a fire certificate that has to be issued to any establishment. And before you are given that fire certificate, you will normally have some things that you must have shared with the fire authority. So these ones are them. Here are they. Before you are issued with a fire security, you must show the fire guys, the escape routes, and how they can be used. Means of firefighting in the premise, means of detecting fire in your premise, and even training, if you have attended fire training in your establishment. So once you show them your fire routes in the event of fire, mtafuata njia gani, jua tutumie lift in the event of fire. Then ukawaonyesha means of detecting fire, waonyeshe mshai attend training za fire. The next thing those people is that they always issue with a fire certificate, and you must also show them the firefighting equipment you have in the establishment. Firefighting equipment huwa ni buckets of water, buckets of sand, a hose pipe ya kutransfer maji. As other people will be running to carry water in the buckets, with the buckets, you must have a very long pipe, inakuanga 33 meters, that can transport the water also. Then we normally have fire extinguishers, and we normally have different types of fire extinguishers. You must show them, and then you must have also a fire blanket. You must have them before you are issued with a fire certificate. The fire triangle. For fire to start, 3 things are needed: ignition, fuel, and oxygen. Fuel will either be flammable gases or flammable liquids. That one will ignite the fire. From there, that is the fire triangle. So those are the 3 things fire needs for it to break out. Go up. Then tuko na firefighting equipment. They are classified as class A, class B, C, D, na E. Class A will always extinguish solids. Class A firefighting equipment normally extinguishes fire that involve solid material. The cause of fire is a solid material. So the class A type of firefighting equipment can extinguish it. Then class B, it extinguishes flammable liquids. Class C extinguishes gases. Class D, metals. Then class E will extinguish oils or fats. So there are the classes of firefighting equipment in place. Venye tu chenye tumediscuss class A. Then now an example of a solid material ndio hiyo hapo: wood, paper, fabric ni nguo. How you extinguish it ni you direct it directly to the fire. Then you should never use this type of extinguisher on electric and liquid fires. Then we move to class B, which is the blue canister dry powder. It is used on burning liquid and electric fires. So if the fire in the kitchen was caused by a burning liquid or electricity, what are you supposed to do? You direct this blue canister at the base of the electric fire, and then it will just go off. Then we have the class C, which is the cream canister. It is form ni povu. It is used on burning liquid. Apply a layer of the foam on the liquid, and it will go off. Class D, we have the green canister, the BCF halon. It is used on burning liquid and electric fires, and do it as class A. It is not suitable in confined places. Confined places ni penye vitu zimeshikana, equipment ziko back to back. Then class E, which is the red fire blanket, it is used on burning liquid and those involving persons. If a person is getting burnt, you cover him or her with the fire blanket, and the fire will just go off. In the event of fire, activate an alarm. Inform the switchboard to call the fire brigade. Vacate the building. If possible, close the doors and windows and do not use lifts. Then go and assemble at the fire assembly point for a roll call, and you can tackle the fire if there is no personal risk involved. So unmute yourself. Nimemaliza.
Yes.
Mhm.
I've unmuted.
Aya. Nimemaliza.
Okay, thank you.
Aya. Questions?
No question actually. I've understood everything.
Aya, sawa. So kuna hapo that review question.
Yes.
Had you those review question, can you tackle them? Sahi ni 318. So there are 2 questions and their application, I guess it will require some level of thinking. So at 4, 10 minutes to 4, I'm giving you like 30 minutes to look into those questions. Then 10 minutes to 4, hiyo itakuwa 350.
Yes.
Utarudi uniongeleshe, uniambie umepata answers zipi in regard to those 2 questions.
So I put them on the chat or?
Yeah? Ready?
So after I get the answers, I put them on the chat.
No, we will just come back on this podium and communicate.
Okay.
Aya. Sawa.